Good afternoon, everyone. We will have this in English, Guillaume, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Because we have many people in VivaTech who speak English as well, and many people who will watch online the thing and the replay afterwards. Sorry. And the replay afterwards on LinkedIn. So we welcome our audience present here today at VivaTech and also on the social networks by LinkedIn. Really great to have you around, Guillaume. Guillaume, you are today a vice president at the group BIC. You know BIC, probably, all of you, the shavers, the lighters, the writing instruments, as you say, for pens, basically. And you are in charge of the brand, the global brand, and also sustainability for the group. Before that, you were the chief for sustainability in Danone for the waters division, and we've been working together for quite a long time. So it's really a pleasure to have you, Guillaume, today with us in VivaTech, and a pleasure to be talking about a very, very ambitious topic, which we can read, Doing Great for Our Planet. And when we imagined together the topic, I had my first question immediately. Is that too ambitious, doing great for the planet? Is it realistic? Are we a bit naive? Is it okay for corporates to talk about this topic, doing great for the planet? What's your view on that, on sustainability and our responsibility?
So thanks for the invitation. First, it's my pleasure to be with you today. I think the topic is wonderful, and I'll give you some reason why I'm hopeful today regarding the topic of the planet. So there is a momentum on sustainability, and I gathered some evidences and facts to prepare the keynotes, and that's very interesting. The first thing is, since COVID, so since the last 2 years or 3 years now, there is an acceleration, which is very, very clear on the topics of sustainability. And some companies have benchmarked clients and people and ask them, is it more important, equally important, or less important than before? And they all said, 50% of them said, it's more important. So that's the first driver of acceleration and the first reason to be hopeful. The second is there is also a shift in people concerns regarding sustainability. So you know sustainability is really wide. It's a very big topic, but there is a shift in the concern. So today, when you ask people what they are, let's say, concerned about sustainability, they will say climate change, they say plastic waste, and they also state water scarcity. So the topics on environment is becoming really number one. And last but not least, I think what is important is when you screen companies' commitments towards climate actions, you can see also that there is a clear correlation between the accelerations of the topics in people's mind and what corporations are doing. So few facts here. You have almost 40% of companies that are today aligned on SBTi commitment in the Fortune 500 companies. The second step.
Can you tell the people SBTi?
Yeah, so SBTi is science-based target, which is more or less the trajectory of the Paris Agreement. So it's 40% of them. 5 years from now, it was only 10%. So massive acceleration. The second topic is if you take that same number for France, so the SBF 120, you have 60% of the companies also align with the SBTi. So it's a massive hope factor for me because there is a clear acceleration, and it's also because it's a consumer-driven revolution. So that's why I think companies have to do it.
And you mentioned it's a very strategic topic for corporations. So we're not idealistic. We have to handle it because the environment is key. And you mentioned climate, you mentioned plastic, you mentioned water scarcity. So these are very broad topics that the corporations must address. But I'm tempted to ask you, is the importance not the how rather than the what? Because the what is obvious.
Yeah,
how?
The why and the what is very clear. I think there is no debate around that. The real question is the how. And this is where the burden and the complexity is. So on the one hand, as I said, it's almost like a $1 billion questions. And But at the same time, it's also an aspiration from consumer. That's why it's interesting for a consumer-driven company. So there is people saying 90% of consumers said they want to live more sustainably, and 85% of the same people said they want brands to help them on the journey. So there is, I would say, kind of a business opportunity to do a better job for the planet. That's very, very interesting. The other topics is when you monitor the percentage of people willing to buy more sustainably, you can see that today almost 50% of the behaviors, the purchase behavior, are shifting for the better. So people are willing to buy products that are really better for the planet. So it's also a massive, massive shift from company, because if you're not doing the right job, then you might be having a concern in terms of penetration. Your business is not going to grow. So you have to help shifting your core, improving your offer to make it really resonating to what consumers want from you.
If I understand well, the consumer demand is here for more sustainable products that respect more the environment or that protect the planet.
Right.
So demand is here. The business of consumer products companies like BIC is, of course, to address the consumer demand. That's the basic of marketing forever, for ages, since we were born, you and I. But even before that. But basically, what's hindering the progress today? Why are some corporations not doing it enough, or what is preventing them from acting positively for the environment?
Yeah, so I think when you are working in sustainability, you all have this question: why are we not going, deeper, fast enough, whatever? And it's interesting because you need to check with or discuss with your CEO in that topic. It's really about making sure they can really address this, but without destroying the business. Because when you refer to things that are really preventing CEOs to do the right job or to accelerate, they will state there is two critical factors. The first one is related to investment, not cost, investment. If you really want to shift your business, you need to put a hell lot of money. And so you have to phase your investment accordingly. And when you are a listed company, for example, you can do whatever you want. You also need to respect that what your shareholders are expecting you in terms of share benefits or whatever. So it's a complex arbitration, and you don't have to be too bold. You have to do it accordingly, the first thing. And the second step is when you are also asking CEOs why they are not going too more aggressively in this topic, they said, we wish, but sometimes there is no at-scale solution that can really drive the impact that we want. So let's take a moment to talk about, for example, a topic of recycling plastics. The demand is super high, but the solutions are very low. So there is more demand than actual product to be able to be recycled. So that creates a massive tensions. Many companies want to improve, but they can't. It's physical resistance. There is no material available. So most of the solution will come between 2025 to 2030 and beyond, but we have no time. That creates a conflict in the agenda, and that's make the life of CEOs in terms of decision-making very complex.
And you've worked for Danone, you've worked for BIC. On the same question that we just addressed, do you see a difference between Danone, listed company, BIC, which is more a family business, family-owned business? Does it make a difference? And are the companies hindered or prevented from acting, behaving differently depending on their shareholders, structure, or their stakeholders?
So it's a very fair question. I would say in terms of vision, there is no difference, because a family-driven business since day one, they are thinking about making their business as sustainable as they can. Same for a big company. But here, in that aspect, my main learning, because I joined BIC 4 months ago only, is scale matter. If you're a big player, you have an access to different types of solutions, and you can also, I would say, enjoy your purchasing power to your supply chain, which is critical here to solve the CO2 topics. When you're a smaller company, you can go to see the big guy and say, hey man, I want this right now at that price, because you have a very different types of power. So you need to shift from traditional ways of doing business to a more collaborative way of doing business with your entire ecosystem. So it's about giving them visibility on long-term deals, giving them visibility of pricing, even though that could jeopardize your pricing and efficiency strategy, but you have no other option. So I would say the means and the enablers are very different, but the vision is very, very similar.
Very clear. We are here at VivaTech, which is the temple for digital technology, data, startups. I see some startups here like Nota Clima. I cannot resist to mention it.
Very good one, by the way.
Very good startup, absolutely. We have all these digital things around. How does it help the journey to make the planet protected, to make the world better? And what's the role of these tech world in helping us doing great for the planet?
So just to connect with what I said before, there is not enough solution today to the topics of climate change. So everything that will be developed in the future will be very welcome. So from the tech side of it, I think there is a massive tons of entrepreneurs today willing to invent solutions that can fit the challenge of the world, and that's very beneficial. On the other end, from the more data or side, I think most of the challenge also is to be able to get the right analytics to make sure that your fundamental estimates at the very beginning is accurate. Because you can't rely on Excel, sorry Microsoft, you can't rely on Excel to do your strategy. You really need to go deep on the analytics, rely on data, and make sure that it's at the very centers of your decision-making process. You need evidences, so that's critical. It's not everything, but it's really part of the journey.
Because I see the clock is ticking very, very quickly,
All
and
right.
we need to keep questions for the audience, and I know that there will be questions. What advice would you give everyone here around, corporates, startups, students for some, everyone else? Do you have a sort of recommendation to make and I know it's a very, very difficult and broad question, but to do great for the planet, in a nutshell, what do we really need to do?
So, I mean, taking the example that I know from Danone and from Big, I would say there is 5 very operational things that I'd like to share as a key takeout. The first one is that this is very obvious. No one can afford not to prioritize sustainability today. So for someone that is late on track, I would say do it now. It's really the right moment. The second topic is linked to the most branded element. It's a massive opportunity to regain relevance, and that's why in the consumer-facing categories, most of the CMOs are also entitled to sustainability because, as I said, it's a consumer-driven revolution. So you need to be able to connect with the consumers and give them solutions that rewards them very simply and help them to achieve their journey. The third theme is put your brand at the very, very center of the efforts. They need to know what you have for them and what are the solutions that you can proudly export to the rest of the world. The fourth thing is one of the learning, it's sustainability will never replace price, quality, and convenience. It's another add-on. So that's important because you won't be able to offer only on sustainability. It has to be part of the mix, and it's another criteria. And the last element, it's sustainability is a journey, not a destination. So there is no final point.
It's a permanent journey. Thank you for that wrap-up in your 5 points, and I'm sure that people will remember that. I have a more personal question, Guillaume. You're in charge of sustainability and the brand at BIC. You were in charge of sustainability at Danone for the waters division, and we know the challenge of sustainability in mineral water, bottled water is very difficult. What moves you? What's your trigger? What's your personal convictions? Why did you accept this role in sustainability? Why?
Yeah, so I think it's really good to have an impact and to be there to help. So the reason why I accepted to join BIC is first because I believe the brand is wonderful. Everyone on earth knows BIC and has an interaction with a big product. So as a marketer, it's just crazy good and crazy inspiring. The other element is as a small company, they have to do potentially more than others to fast track and catch up. So I'm here to help and give them my learnings from my previous journey at Danone. And the other thing is, one of my mentors that you know very well, Arantxa, you invited her last year to speak here. She said something that I really love is doing good is always the best business strategy. And I think it's very true.
Thank you very much for these wise words, Guillaume. Do we have any question from the audience that can be either in English or in French, if you don't dare in English? I hope there is. Otherwise, I will do like the business schools. I will cold call someone. Anne Pascal.
Hi, we were wondering, how is BIC changing its business model? Because we know you as being a disposable company. You had throwaway razors, you know, your lighters are plastic, you know, the razors are plastic. I bought just recently one of your new BIC pens in the silver case, and you drop the refill in. That's absolutely brilliant, and it's a real beauty, you know. So congratulations on that. But how are you dealing with the other bits?
I think this very last element of innovation you mentioned is really showing the direction for the future, which is greater circularity. So you've mentioned the lighters. And that's interesting because you can associate our categories to plastic, but the truth is we are not single-use plastics. On average, a lighter lasts for 5 years. It's huge. And recently, we have announced to the market and showcase the first reconditioning factory for lighters. So we're going to recollect lighters and be able to recondition them. So the first lighters reconditioned are already now or will be launched in the market next year. And that's really where the efforts of the company is, which is circularity at all cost. So we have a proven case for lighters. We're working on a case for the writing instruments. It's a bit more complex, but we're close to find solutions. And for shavers, we're also expanding on the longevity of the product. So for example, you can write up to 2,000 meters with a pencil, which is on average 2 times more than our competitions, and same for shavers. So yes, some categories are disposable, but the idea is to increase the longevity and make them circular or recondition.
Thank you. Une autre question? Je sais que c'est difficile devant tout le monde. Should we stop here then maybe? I have one more, maybe.
Go ahead.
Because at KPMG, we are advisors. We advise a lot of business in audit, in consulting, in tax and legal. So we always share our advice willingly. What would be your advice to a company like KPMG to do better for the planet and to have more impact for our clients?
That's an interesting one because not every types of business have the similar challenges. I think you have tons of data and best practices, example, that could worth being spread across the board so that people can take inspiration and real case to improve their, or potentially shift their business model. So it's about also giving them access to your data and spread them to fast track the change. That could be one great thing. And also, I think you have a unique ability because of your very unique setting between an accounting company and also a strategic advisor company to combine 2 key elements of the stakeholders of our company, shareholders and investors and consumers. And I think that's very, very good because when you define your equity story to the market, that's great that you can help us to say, look, that's your rating in terms of climate. Through our own system, we can say that you're doing good, you're not doing enough, or you may be late. And that's also very helpful to connect all the dimensions together because actually this is something that we will overcome by collaboration.
Guillaume, merci beaucoup.
Merci à toi.
C'était vraiment un plaisir. Thank you very much a real honor to have you, and success for BIC and the journey on helping our planet and protect our planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.